Okay, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order for Monday, July 14th of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission meeting. We will start with roll call. Position 1, Carrie Stuckey, that's me, I'm here. Position 2 and Position 3 are currently vacant. Position 4, Eric Tibsinski is absent. Tom Jones?
Here.
Kim Ford?
Here.
Vicki Biggs? She's
Here.
online, okay. Callie is out today, and it looks like Eric Marshall is not here. So then we will go ahead and introduce our newest advisory commission member, Kim Ford. Welcome, Kim. We're happy to have you on the commission.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yes, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No.
Okay. Well, we're happy to have you here. Thank you. We will move on then to item 3, approval of the agenda. Did we have any questions or changes for the agenda today? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the agenda for today is approved. Then we'll move on to item number 4, approval of minutes from our regular meeting of June 9th, 2025. Were there any questions or changes for the minutes for that meeting? Okay, I'm not seeing any, so do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that is approved. Next, we will move on to public comment. Did we have anyone present who would like to make a public comment?
Good morning. My name is Denise Marion. I live near Friend Marsh, and so I am concerned about it always. And I have asked to have this aerial image of the park up there so you can see the parcels I'm talking about. 2 parcels are for sale by Windermere, and they're owned by Mr. Friend, or the Friend estate or family. And they are down at the bottom left, that little triangular shaped thing there's between the shore and that gray line. That is one parcel, just that little triangle. And then up above, you see the white roof of a bank along Bayshore Drive at that corner. And you see a little pathway going from that corner on Bayshore over to the Scenic Heights Trail. That gray patch there is the other parcel for sale. And I've been following Friend Marsh happenings since I moved in 2019. I live in the condos just adjacent to the park there. And the reason I bought the property is because I have nature right outside my door. So I care about it a lot. And I'm wondering, I know that in 3 years ago, the city was going to, or applied for a conservation futures grant from the county, and was turned down because the county thought that the purpose was too vague. Apparently, the county eventually approved that with quite a measure of amendments about what they wanted to see done, and and it was a substantial grant, like $300,000. It was quite large, and the city rejected that because whatever reasons, I'm not sure. But I'm wondering if these are the same 2 parcels that the city wanted to purchase, and if not, would the city want to purchase them now? And the reason is that this parcel down there by the seashore, if that is sold to a private, someone other than Friend, it will cut off access of pedestrians from Scenic Heights Trail along the side of the city. The city property is that kind of woodsy area. So anyway, so I think that's an important patch of property to buy. And the one up there by the bank is adjacent to the truly marshy wetland part there, up there, there's ducks and otters in there. So it would be really nice to be able to protect that further. A lot of homeless people, unsheltered people sleep rough and camp in that area. So I would encourage the Parks and Rec Commission to kind of get on board and see if we can, the city can capture those two pieces of property. They're currently for sale by Windermere, and the owner is F-R-E-U-N-D, Friend.
Just for clarification on the parcels that are for sale,
Yes.
I understand the triangular area you're talking about.
Okay.
And then the two areas going that way, the one closest to the road is for sale, not the grassy area?
Okay, so there's a bright green patch. That's it. That's one.
Okay.
And the other is that, yes.
Oh, small,
Correct.
the small
Thank you.
parcels. Okay.
Yes, uh-huh. Thank you. And the larger sort of triangular piece in between those two is owned by the city. And then the carnival was on the longer rectangular patch. Yeah,
And,
and that's private, yeah.
oh, that's perfect. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Denise. Did we have any other public comments at this time that were emailed or? Okay, all right. We will go ahead and move on to our discussion items then. Discussion item A, Safe Streets for All Grants, statistics updates with Grants Administrator Wendy Horn.
Good morning, everyone. I provided, and I apologize, Vicki, I didn't send this out in advance, but I can get you a copy. But I provided the commission with the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan, Oak Harbor's piece of it. I'm not 100% sure what some of the questions were that the commission had, so I'm happy to answer those after I just kind of share. Basically, the crash data for Oak Harbor specifically is on page 89 of the packet that I gave you. And you can kind of tell there's not a lot of crashes, but this is the information that we used when we applied for the Safe Streets for All grant. And the other piece of information that I provided to you is a map of SR20 in Oak Harbor. And this is what we used when we applied for the Safe Streets for All. Basically, I highlighted from Southwest 6th Avenue to Northeast 7th Avenue are the critical areas that we are focusing on with this grant if we do get it. So if you have any specific questions, I will try to answer them. If I can't answer them, our city engineer, Alex Warner, said he would be happy to answer anything in writing.
Thank you, Wendy. Were there any questions? Eric, I know this was something you were asking about last meeting.
Yeah, I apologize for showing up a few minutes late. No, I don't have any questions at this moment, but thank you.
Vicki, did you have any questions or comments?
I don't have questions, but if you could email that to me, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Sure. Tom or Kim, did you have any questions? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Wendy, for providing that. Our next discussion items is Communications Officer Maggie Aguilar.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me here today to give you an update on communication strategies for parks. Our interns had some conflicts this morning, so unfortunately they cannot be here to introduce themselves. One you may already know, Nolan Soltenstall was part of Whidbey Royalty last year, and he had a lot to do with getting a rec center in town, so you may know him. Our other intern, and he's attending UW Seattle. Our other intern is attending University of Dallas. Her name is Caitlin, and they're both wonderful. They're great, and they bring a lot of experience in terms of social media, government, and they're both very enthusiastic. So we're really lucky to have them. Hopefully for your next meeting, we'll get to introduce them. But just to give you an overview of one of the special projects, thanks to LTAC funding, we were able to have a grant awarded to us for a Score and Explore program. So Operation Score and Explore is basically a program to get sports teams coming to Oak Harbor to stay in Oak Harbor and make it a weekend here. So a lot of times we get teams coming from all over Washington, sometimes even Idaho, and a lot of Surf Cup teams that are coming from out of state are also coming to Washington to play some of our select teams or competitive teams. So while they're here, the goal is to have these teams stay in town and make it a whole weekend, maybe stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and leave on a Monday or longer. So what we did is we put packages together for these teams and these coaches to spread to their families so that we're doing the work for them. They don't have to look for restaurants where the teams can have a team lunch or a team dinner. We did all of that work for them. So we've contacted restaurants in Oak Harbor, and we are working on a brochure, and also have included parks, hiking trails, things to do. We collaborated with Main Street to highlight some of the things to do downtown and some of the times of years that if they're in town during a festival, things like that. So it's always nice. I know my kids have been playing sports their entire lives, and it's really nice when you go to another town and already know what you're going to do when you get there and already know where you're going to stay. So that is the idea behind Operation Score and Explore. We are about a few days from completing that brochure and that project, so we're hoping to have that to you very soon. Excuse me. What else do we have going on? In terms of social media strategies, we are with our interns, we're going back to basics. We're not creating or overanalyzing too much of what's going on socials. We are keeping it very simple. With some of the things that we have right now, we started a new initiative called Photo of the Week. So we're highlighting different things throughout the city, whether it's a department, whether it's a park, staff member, or a family out and about, somebody with their dog on a hiking trail. It's just different things that we can highlight. And that's, like I said, just going back to basics. We want to highlight some of our parks this summer, and our interns are really excited about doing some videos and taking some photography of just families being out at our parks and having a good time this summer, and just giving those options of other places to go. There's some hidden gems out there that we would like to highlight, whether it's Fort Nugent, Frisbee Golf, or hidden park with a smaller playground to have a picnic, things like that. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that this summer. And hopefully everyone got a chance to see the article in Whidbey News Times about the Camp Windjammer that was done really nicely by Liz Lang and Craig. So hopefully you guys get to read that today. It's out, I think it was out Saturday. So yeah, that is all I have in terms of an update. And like I said, I look forward for you to meeting our interns and having a chance to chat with them. And I look forward to continuing to work with you. And thanks for having me today.
Question about the sports tourism project. In compiling that information, are we also working on providing discounts through said providers for these teams? And is that going to be available for all types of athletics, not just youth, but any other things that we would do? I'm thinking, obviously the marathon, but there's other things that we're not even involved with, like the trail marathon that happens out at Deception Pass, or individual sports, things that happen like with the socials and exchanges they do at Woodby Island Golf Club, or Woodby Golf Club, and some of those other individual sports. I'm thinking about pickleball in the future, and then obviously I'm going to ask about disc golf as well, with the events that get run that way. But
Yeah.
is that how we're trying to target it?
So
Providing
right-
incentives that way for the people to make those choices?
So right now, we are focusing on the sports tourism aspect of it, just because it is a LTAC-funded program. I want to be able to have the data behind it to be able to provide to the LTAC committee. With some of the other bigger events that come to town, I would love that to happen. I believe that they have a lot of blocks on rooms already, but in terms of your question regarding discounts, yes. So we are working with the hotels to be able to provide those discounts. If they do, we would like to collaborate maybe with the chamber to do something a little bigger with all hotels. But the few that we have talked to right now, Best Western and Candlewood would like to provide a discount. It would have to be a specific Score and Explore discount so that we're able to track that data.
Okay, thank you. I think
Yeah.
my question was probably a little convoluted to thinking about what qualifies in that.
As score,
Yeah,
in the Score and Explore
Score and
program.
Explore,
I mean,
like,
the
what
sky,
ticks that
the high
box?
school sports would definitely be a part of that. I think anything related to sport, a sport would be okay. Yeah, I think some of the bigger events, maybe not yet, but the goal would be to get, as many of the big events. I mean, the brochure is actually, anybody would be able to look at the brochure and plan a weekend.
Yeah, it sounds phenomenal. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's gonna be great. I'm really excited to launch it and to show it to you.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that sounds great. I am also curious with the social media. I know that Liz typically does the Parks and Recreation social media. Have the interns and Liz been able to collaborate, or will
No.
they be collaborating to maybe get some kind of like a
Yeah.
plan?
That is definitely the goal. I do feel like our Parks and Rec socials need a little bit of love, so that is the goal, to get the interns collaborating with Parks and Rec and Liz, because that is one of the ideas that we had. It was just keeping it simple, going back to basics, and just getting our engagement back up. As I look at some of the data and some of the analytics with our Parks and Rec, I would love to see that grow a little bit and see it grow with our families. So that is definitely the plan.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Any other questions for Maggie? Vicki, did you have any questions?
The only question I have is with the sports. Is it right now? Are we just focused on in city limits ones? I know, like we were like Eric asked about, disc golf and stuff, and I think that is that outside of the city limits?
Good question. Yes, good question. Yes, right now it is focused city limits in terms of stays, shopping, restaurants. We did include in the brochure, are planning to include EBs, and that's as far out as of right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments? No? Okay, so we will move on to item C, commission vacancy update. Thank you so much, Maggie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So we do still have 2 openings on our commission. I'm not sure if there's any updates from Brian on applications.
No, I checked in with Mikhail, and we do not have any new applications for those 2 positions yet. Just, we've been able to fill the one, and very happy to have Kim on with us, with the team. But so would love your help in getting the word out about those, and I'll talk with Maggie also about what we can do to highlight those vacancies. I know we have a lot of very interested people who care about Parks and Recreation in the community. It's a little bit of a time commitment, hopefully not too much, but yeah, if for those in the public that really would like to help shape the future of Parks and Recreation for the community, this is one of the best avenues to really be an influence for that. So encourage anyone that feels that they can give up a few hours of their time a month to apply.
Okay, we will move on to item D, subcommittee updates. Would you like to go first?
I'm a little scatterbrained this morning, so I apologize, and I thought my notes were on. I sent my notes to this iPad, but I'm not finding them. We had a meeting, and we discussed, I think, again, a little bit about pickleball and kind of what was going on there. Tom and I also spoke at some length about how do we stage these projects and meet the mayor's, stated desire to finish, not just start and finish. So we spent some time, I think, discussing what was in process, and kind of talking with Brandon and Brian about where we were at in timetables as far as getting that, the things that are open, getting them to being finished, or at least finishing the stages that we're on. And there were some encouraging updates, I think, in regards to Freedom Park and just kind of where they see, I guess, energy and time being put to that effort, and being able to assign more work to that and move that along. And then our next sort of projects up. I mean, obviously we have the playground in the works. We have pickleball sort of in its planning stages, and just thinking about how do we and where are we at in those processes as far as drawing projects to completion with what we can do and what we're able to, what's in our control and what's not in our control. And recognizing that things like funding mechanisms for things that we don't have the money for, or at least not slated for, like pickleball right now. And even the playground, like we're just not there yet, but we do have resources available for our Freedom Park project, which is super exciting. And so that's a lot of where I think we spent our conversation time in kind of an overview. Tom, do you have anything you need to add?
I can't remember if we mentioned it or not, but I think we may have mentioned the feasibility study that was coming up and now has taken place.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of conversation on that, but knowing that we were still waiting, and then knowing we were going to hit the scoring and all of that stuff to begin moving forward on that, which is exciting, right? We're moving forward right now. We're taking a look at the providers, and some of us are involved in scoring those entries, that have been offered, and that will all be submitted by the 17th. And so that's another exciting thing that we're putting in progress. And again, knowing that we've got all these things moving forward is really exciting, but also then knowing that we also need to complete them, and then getting good reports from Brian and Brandon about where they're at in those plans on that. And so people can trust that there's plans in place to get stuff done. We're not just talking about stuff and not getting started, but the staff is putting together plans. The mayor wants to see that done as well, and us on the volunteer, side want to see things not just started but completed. And I think we should hopefully, and anybody watching here should hopefully be optimistic about the fact that the staff is doing that. And that our leadership here, sitting at the table over there, Brian and Brandon, are scheduling and slating that, so stuff does get done and stuff does get completed, and it is opened up for the enjoyment of the community, and that's exciting. While it's in our control, we're doing everything we can that's in our control with the funding mechanisms that we have and the people that we have, and that's exciting.
Thank you. Did we have any questions for Eric or Tom? Vicki, did you have any questions or comments?
I don't at the moment.
Okay. Kim, did you have any questions? Okay. So we did not have a programs and events subcommittee meeting this past month, but we did have a Parks and Playground meeting, and we discussed quite a few things. We discussed some of the historical places, I guess, in Oak Harbor, and possibly scheduling a joint meeting with the Historic Preservation Commission to talk about things like the Flintstone car, the windmill at Holland Gardens Park, and the Neal Tower. We also discussed the Fort Nugent pathway between the parking lot and the bathrooms. There was some issues with it being slippery and muddy when it rains. I'm not sure, Brandon may have an update on anything to do with that. And then, let's see. We talked about possibly creating or refining a lost and found policy. So that is something that is just kind of being discussed at the moment. So we have kind of an official lost and found policy for our parks. And then we also discussed our inclusive playground project and the possibility of beginning fundraising for that. There is an event at Windjammer on August 9th that Sherwood is hosting, and Brian will be there to discuss a little bit about where we're at with the inclusive playground project. And then we did talk about having an open house for the community to come and give feedback, ask questions, and maybe start talking about fundraising for that as well. Vicki, did you have anything to add?
I would say that we talked a little bit about the splash park and the drainage, kids clogging up the drain, seeing if that was an issue or not. I don't know if if Brandon has any updates on that. And then fixing the boardwalk between Windjammer and Flintstone. That there were some boards that needed to be fixed, and then if the lights were working or not.
Okay, thanks, Vicki. Were there any questions or comments about that? No? Okay, Brandon, did you have any updates on either of those items?
Yeah, so I didn't write them down. The boardwalk is, we will schedule that for whenever we get a chance. There's nothing that I went and walked the boardwalk. There's nothing that I see as a safety concern that we need to address immediately. Basically the top rails of the boards are just coming up. They need to be, they're just a little offset. They need to just be re-screwed down, potentially clean out some of the debris that's underneath them. So we will get that on the radar, but it's not super pressing at the moment. It's not on the top of my priority list. We did, at Pirates and Mermaids, I took a look at the clogging of the splash pad, drainage. I took some pictures. I talked to Brian about it. I don't think it's an issue. What I saw there was basically a permeable thing being put over the drain that it just slowed it down. It didn't stop it. There was no overflowing of any water. I don't think there was any drowning hazard or anything. It was kids playing and being kids. So I don't think we need to address anything there at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right, so we will go ahead and move on to item E, Parks and Recreation Director updates.
Yeah, and I'll start since Eric didn't have all of his notes, just a couple other items from Athletics Facilities Committee, Subcommittee. So beyond going just over the Recreation Center best practices, we also talked about doing like a virtual roundtable or some site visits as well as we get into this process, just to really have a good understanding of things we want to avoid through this process. And then we confirmed the review panel, and those reviews were completed last week. Those are all into Sandra now. So those gradings will be tallied up, and then we will schedule interviews with the top firms with our review panel. We also talked about doing a pickleball open house with the kind of newly formed association. We originally were looking at July 30th at 6 p.m. at the center, but having talked with RWD on where they are with stuff, might push that out a bit. So we're probably going to look a little closer towards end of summer, maybe end of August to do that. So I'll give you another update on when that'll be at the next commission meeting. For Freedom Park, we're just evaluating our arborist team bandwidth. We're going out and doing a site visit this week on Wednesday. And we're also reaching out to the Washington Trails Association. And then we'll be talking more with Eric about the Disc Golf Association volunteers and doing some organization around that. We had looked at tentatively planning for August 24th to do a community service project with a local church that had expressed interest in having some stewardship with that park. I know the Navy's also very interested in having involvement with keeping up that park and utilizing it as a volunteer opportunity for some of their volunteer hours that that the Navy does. And I think that's it for the Athletics Committee. For just general updates, we are hiring pretty much everywhere. So along with the commission, volunteer work will also pay you to come and help out in different areas. I know our day camp has been filling up each week. We need additional counselors. So we're desperately looking for additional help there. If you know anyone that are looking for summer employment that might even roll over into a permanent job if they're interested, please encourage them to apply. We also have some parks maintenance positions that are open for recruitment. and those postings are up. The activity guide, we'll be working on that quite a bit this week. We'll also do some programming forecasting after this guide is complete. More with the programs and special events subcommittee mostly on that, but we might make that kind of a larger discussion with the full commission as well as we look to the future. And okay, we've done our first full year of programming. What's year 2 look like, and what are new things that we want to incorporate into our comprehensive planning schedule? You haven't talked about day camp actually. We have some pretty neat things going on there. You might know about the Dino program, which pays the registration costs for kids to attend that camp. Also had partnered with Margie's House and CADA, Community Against Domestic Abuse programs. I was pretty saddened to see that Big Brothers Big Sisters looks like they might be closing. There's going to be quite a loss for youth in our community. I'm not sure what that looks like for the future of the Dino program, or if maybe another chapter will take that place. We'll reach out and try and get more information. If it does end up that they really are closing doors and not filling that vacancy, then we'll probably want to have some discussions on what we do with that building that we lease out to them. Yeah, but I just like to say Big Brothers Big Sisters has been a great partner with us and with the community for many years, so kind of a sad loss. We do have 2026 sponsorship packages that are out, so we're looking to fill our sponsor slots for 2026. We've already had a couple that have signed on, but just be aware of that. If you know any businesses that are looking for that goodwill outreach to the community and want to be part of some of the events and different programs that we're doing and scholarship programs, we are taking up those signups now. We are going to extend RWD's contract through the end of the year. They're still going through the permitting and stormwater design with those pickleball court plans. Not really too concerned about that because we're still having to wait for our second round of grant funding since we didn't get that in the first year with some of the changes that were made at the state level for the RCO grants. So those designs should be complete at 100% by the end of the year. And then special events that are coming up. Kids Fishing Derby Day will be July 26th. The VFW is hosting that event at the marina and partnering with us for that, and we'll probably supplement that a little bit. That's a pretty neat event to watch and brings the community down to the marina to get a better look at it and help activate that space. We have our all-members picnic on August 1st at Windjammer Park. On August 5th will be National Night Out, and Parks and Recreation will be participating in that, giving safety best practices for the community. As was mentioned, Sherwood is doing a community event also at Windjammer on August 9th, and we'll be participating in that as well and doing some outreach and getting some feedback around the inclusive playground. And then we are looking to combine our Fall Fest that we did last year for the first time, along with the Marina birthday celebration that we did last year for the first time. And we're looking at September 13th to host that event at Catalina Park and at the Marina coming up. So we'll have kind of a fun seaside, larger community event down there. And then a little further out, but just to make note of, we'll have the Resources Fair on September 24th at the center, and they're getting those vendors all signed up now, and that's a very heavily participated in event and a great event for the older adult community that we have here in Oak Harbor. That's journal updates for me.
Okay, thank you. Did we have any questions or comments from anybody? Vicki, did you have any questions or comments?
The only comment I want to make is I wanted to say that my kids have attended the day camp and had a blast. So to thank you to Liz and Craig for putting on a fantastic program. And also, Brian, thank you so much for emceeing the Pirates and Mermaid, because that was a really, really, really fun event.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone who participated in that. Carrie makes a great pirate.
Okay, that moves
Yes,
us.
she does.
Thank you. That moves us on to item 7, member comments. Did anyone else have any comments to make? Go ahead.
Has there been any feedback on the new venue for the 4th of July event? People were happy or not happy with the park location and the carnival?
We haven't had a post-event meeting yet, but I know Eric and Brandon have talked a little bit.
Yeah, we have not had a post-event meeting, but I did meet with Eric, Skip from the chamber on Friday to go over the irrigation. It looks like all the irrigation was good. And just the back and forth there, I heard that it sounds like there was a little bit of there's a couple people complained about moving the location again, and they were trying to educate them that it was the moving of the back to the original location. But from what Skip and Eric said, they did not hear, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but they did not hear a bad comment about it. They think everybody had a great time. They're looking to get the data and compile the data for the businesses around town to see how good that event was. But overall first impressions was it was a very, very good event with a good location.
So no feedback from the vendors, the sellers, or the carnival as to whether they financially did as good or better?
I don't have any of that information at this time.
So I attended it and did talk with some of the vendors, and I think they did pretty well.
Just of note, I was really happy that it was in the park. I thought that's a good location. The carnival, I guess you'd have to talk to the carnival people as to whether that was a success or not. But I did like the fact that we were using our park.
Any other questions or comments?
In that regard, I suppose we'll have to wait for a meeting, but will we get any feedback from law enforcement about parking and any issues that they had regarding that? Because that was the only complaint I heard, which is the complaint every year. I'm just curious to know if it was any different with its location versus the other site that it had been at.
Did you have?
Can I have a member comment off a different topic?
Yes.
Okay. Brandon and I took a walk through Fort Nugent Park. There's just been an uptick in some vandalism and things out there. In the past month, we've also removed a tent and some other things that were out there. Just something to keep your eye out for with parks users. It didn't coincide with the end of school. It's been going on, the last several months, so it's not just, angst of kids or something out of school. It's been happening for a little bit, but there's been some damage to the disc golf course. There's been some damage to some nature and some other things out there. So again, just if you're out there, keep your eyes open, and don't hesitate to make a phone call if you see something. The law enforcement wants to have a record of when stuff is happening. I just haven't seen anything until it's too late, but Brandon and I were looking at what could be done out there to continue to make sure we keep it clean enough where lines of sight are good, safety for everybody, and then repair the stuff that was damaged, and then still keep it a nice forest and be good neighbors to the abutting households as well. So just again, FYI, but also a thank you to Brandon for being on top of it, and let's just keep our eyes open so we can help make people make better choices.
On a completely different topic, I just wanted to thank Janice for coming today with your public comment. I was curious, Brian, if you had any insight on those parcels or why they weren't purchased with that grant funding or any information about that.
Might be a better question for Barbara. Those were parcels that the city was looking at purchasing. We had a number of executive sessions around that. The new administration that came in just decided to pause on that for now. I don't have a whole lot other than that to share.
There was a lot of issues
Yeah.
Councilmember Barbara Arms. Okay, regarding the one parcel on the shoreline, that is an issue, and so there was, between the county and us, they kind of looked at it, but there's more with the water and all that. The other parcel I'm not sure about. I'm not sure if we really ever addressed it, but a lot of it had to do with the other parcel was by the shoreline, and that would require a lot more work and a lot more money, and they just weren't going to do it, you know. So they just kind of put that on hold. The other parcel, I'm not so sure. I can ask. I'm talking to the mayor tomorrow, so we'll see. Okay?
The problem is if it becomes private ownership and they restrict public access, because right now Friend isn't doing it.
Well, I think the one next to the shoreline, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to take a lot to build it, because you're going to have to go through probably the Shoreline Management Act. That's going to take a long time if I'm right on that. So you're not going to be able to do anything. You know, you have to accommodate for, you know, the sea rising. You know, the shoreline there is really dicey. It's really kind of wet. So, you know, whether they can actually build anything or they just want the parcel, I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be right away. I could be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I think it'll be probably the Shoreline Management Act because it's too close to the water. I don't think there's enough space to keep it away. So, you know, I think that could be a problem. But I could be wrong, but well, I'll talk to the mayor, okay?
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, did we have any other comments or questions at this time from members? Vicki, did you have any other comments or questions?
I do not.
Okay. All right, we will go ahead and move on then to item 8, determination of future agenda items. Did we have anything at this time for our next agenda? I'm not seeing any hands or anyone speaking up. I don't have anything at this time. Okay, well, let me know. Send me an email. Did we have anything further to discuss or bring up at this point?
I'll just make a note. I did send out the monthly report that we put into the council's workshop to the commission this morning, so you're welcome to review that. Just report on our last month's activities and our metrics.
Great, thank you. Okay, any comments, anybody else? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn